All right, here are my trades for today. I'm going to go over my winning trade here first, and then I'll go over some of the other ones that didn't work out as well. Um, so here was ON Semiconductor Company. Basically follows AMD, NVIDIA, and the Qs, and it was down at S4 here. Um, Here's today. You can see here price bounced at S4. I normally just use these as just kind of general areas, but I liked that. And when I zoom out on the daily, here's what ON has been doing. I actually like ON recently. I've been watching it for a few months, and I like a lot of the big ranges that it's been making. So if you kind of zoom out and just look at ON, you can see that it had a nice gap here, gap and go. I came down and held that support, which when things start to kind of make sense like this on a higher time frame, I tend to like to use them on that smaller time frame. So held there, went up, retested this sort of shoulder area, and then sold off, and then made a double bottom here. So now we have two supports. We got this level, and then we got this little double bottom, and then went all the way back up to this area, and then rejected it. So I like these big levels, these big ranges. And what it's been doing recently is obviously selling off, right? So we got 6 days of selling, and so it's short term overextended to the downside. And not only that, but today, after a long sell off day here, we also had a gap down. So generally, you want some kind of reversion to the mean, pullback retest on that. But instead, we had a sell off at the open with everything else. So I felt like it had some pressure to go up. Well, it just so happened that we had this nice double bottom here last month, right around that whole $1.53 psych level. So we had this 53, which is the lowest of all four of these days here, and then combined with this sort of oversold idea. So I liked that. And then you combine that with SPY, and if we look at SPY here, everyone was slightly bullish, at least at the open on SPY, because we've had these sell-off days. Then we had a gap down, basically another oversold type of thing, looking for a pullback, which we didn't have that at the open. We had a sell-off. So I was looking at ON at the same time, while SPY and the Qs and everything were, at the bottom low of day and holding. So we go back to ON here, and here's what ON looked like. Okay, so here's that 53 level. Okay, that big higher time frame double bottom level. Now that was just an idea, right? So you always want to be confirmed with that, and I felt like I was, because here at 12:45, price comes down to that level, hits it, and then we had a nice move from there. So to me, that tells me, okay, that level was indeed support for right now. Um, what I also liked was low of day earlier in the day was actually 53.30. And you can see here we had some volume. And so we actually broke low of day, hit that 53, bounced, consolidated, broke up back above it, and then consolidated again. So I really like these pullbacks, especially this one. I think right when it gets to here and it bounces off 53, gets back into the range of the day, and then consolidates. To me, this is a picture perfect sort of long attempt rectangle. So I'll just do like just this general area is, or whatever kind of consolidation it makes. This is a good long for, a new 5-minute high. I mean, this could have been a good one too for the break, but this is extra confirmed here. So really, normally I'd want to get in around the bottom of it, right, 53.40, and have a stop either maybe below this earlier low of day, or I could have even gone lower below this sort of first consolidation. Now that is a bit wider, but I felt like it had potential to go through VWAP and go towards high of day, either pre-market low or high of day, and that makes it more than 3 to 1 potential. Another thing is the ATR for this was 2. Actually, no, it was 3. And so, oh yeah, I already had it over here. So here's an ATR, right? So when you line that up with 53, you can see the potential of it. And actually, if you kind of combine it with the gap down from yesterday, that gives it that perfect 53, $3, gaps, and then moves another half an ATR and then bounces. So everything works really well for a potential for it to make it from 53 all the way back up to high of day, maybe even fill the gap later if new volume comes in, which I was thinking maybe that could happen. So I messed up, and what I did was when I initially entered here, this stock was spready. It's not near as liquid as the Qs and AMD. So when I did get in, I got in right at the edge on the ask, and I really did not like that. That almost right away, I wanted to get out right away and then attempt to get in again. And I almost did. I put in a limit order, but I put it too low. I put in one down here to fill me if it came down, but it didn't come all the way down there. The other reason why I got out quick is because there was a big bid at 53, which it was down here, but it never filled. And so as we made our way up, 53 was still here. So I was a little bit reluctant there. What I did though was I watched it. It did pull back, and then it moved, and I was, kind of ticked off that this moved like that, and obviously the Qs moved here. So what I also liked about this was the timing of it. It was after 1 p.m. Volume started to pick up, and FOMC minutes were scheduled for 2. Right, so we had a good hour before it. And what I noticed on most of the markets and the stocks were that they were bottoming and they were starting to turn around and making higher lows. So this was making higher lows. The Qs were making higher lows, and we still had an hour before the minute. So I felt like, hey, this is really good for a move up before the big volume comes in, because a lot of times we'll see the crazy volume show up, and we have all kinds of new moves. However, leading up to it, there might be an opinion or something on where the price wants to go. And here was perfect. I mean, it basically price moved from one edge of the range all the way to the other, and then the minutes came out, and then volume moved it really fast to the other end of the range, and then it moved all the way to the other end of the range. So you really had all kinds of trades to do, to go for if you had used that volume and just kind of relied on the ranges holding. So anyways, I missed that move. Volume comes in, minutes show up. I told myself, hey, if price gives me something that makes sense, I'm going to try it. And it did. It came all the way back down to here. Basically on all the markets in the stocks, prices, like here you can see right here, the volume comes in on AMD, hits the top of the range, high of day here, comes all the way down to the bottom, the very bottom, 102. And then, so basically I'm thinking, okay, well, we have volume and everything is hitting the support. Your best RVR is to go long on everything. So therefore I'm going to try ON. And sure enough, it comes down to these levels that I liked. Held 53.40 again, got long with a stop being just below this, and took off 10% here because my overall target was up here, high a day, and it did come down, almost stopped me out. I think I even had to move my break-even stop a little bit lower. So I risked a little bit there, and then it finally moved, and this felt great. I got the majority of it out right here, which I do feel like I wanted to hold it for a potential further move. But had I held it, I would have gotten it a lot of it out at 55, or I would have waited for it to pull back some, maybe like a trend line here, and so maybe I would have gotten out right here. So yeah, there was more to make there. And then I got out of 2/3 here, another like a 15% here. I don't know, I think I had like 10% left here, and I got out on this shoulder reversal signal. So it ended up being a really good trade. Could have made a little bit more had I held for a little bit further up, which I wanted to. But honestly, I could have gotten 2 trades. I could have gotten it here and then done it again. I'm not sure if I would have done that though. Okay, so let me move on. All right, so I traded IWM long here. You know, everything was selling off. Really wanted to get long something. I don't really remember too much about this, but I felt like 200 level was holding and it eventually broke. But then it hit the 199 bid and then immediately got above. And then what I started seeing was higher lows. So what I did was, yeah, I liked this top. I liked the volume when it broke right back above. So I let it come down. I had a wider stop though. I think it was all the way down here. So this really wasn't that good of a partial, but I was just so reluctant. And but I like how it held and kept making higher lows. And I drew a trend line here. And I tried one more time thinking 200 might hold, and it didn't. So then I got out. So just a baby trade, honestly, because of my wide stop. Apple was where I had some issues. I think, you know, I had barely traded up until here and nothing that really was good. And I do think I was getting a little tired. Yeah, that's right. I was getting tired. I was getting hungry. I was just about to take a break. I don't know why I came back to the computer and I just felt like there was a lot of like compression going on and battling here. And there was a huge 170 bid. I mean, it had been growing the whole morning. And I just really felt like before the minutes come out in a few hours, I think this wants to come all the way down and hit 170 first. And so I tried here a tight stop. And then what I really liked was this little top it was making. I felt like this was a seller here who was keeping it down. So I got in short, risking just above here. I think I only risked like a quarter of an R. So I was risking small for a potentially bigger move. And I got that first partial there at the low, and that didn't work. And I got all out. And then I tried it one more time. Now I'm going to count this as a bad trade because number one, I was tired and I was hungry and I was about to take a break. And the fact that I just kind of my preparation for this was very fast, and that's not good. Number two, it's 11:30. Normally volume is lower, a lot more algo driven trades, and here I'm trying to scalp stuff for a potential move where potential moves don't occur as often between 11 and 1. So I don't like that either, especially it would have needed to break low of day, and that's going to need more volume, and that's less likely at this time of the day. So, and then the third thing I kind of feel like I messed up on was trying it too many times. This one, you know, the second one, okay, but I think the third one was just a little bit too much. I could tell that I was trying to get into something before it was actually occurring, and but I will give myself a little credit. I do think there was something going on. There was a top here that was being sold, and you can tell that there was some compression going on because right after this broke, there was a nice move straight up here with some new volume. So I do think I was reading some kind of compression and thing being built before I move, but obviously I was wrong in the direction. And I do like how it just kind of reverted to the mean towards VWAP as opposed to down and breaking out at this time of the day. So yeah, that's right. So I did try AMD one more time, or Apple one more time. This was after the minutes came out. Volume got crazy. It hit the top of the range, came all the way down, hit the low of the day, or near the low of the day. And I actually thought that everything was going long and turning around, and I liked this little top it was making. And I saw this bust through, and I liked it. So I got in really tight here. My stop was initially down here, but of course I moved it all the way up to just below this green level, this little early resistance. And I told myself, you know what, I'll stay in it if this holds. And of course it just stops me out, comes a little bit further, and then makes a humongous move. This would have been a really big trade for me. Didn't get that, but I got that ON trade. So overall, I give myself, in terms of my rules and discipline, sort of failed on following my rules and disciplines because of this Apple attempt here. But I made up for it on ON, tried it one more time on what I thought was a good level area. And so tomorrow I'll hope to stick by my rules and discipline no matter what, and hopefully I'll get another good trade out of it too. Thanks.